Morning everybody, welcome to WEBBY'S World here in my little manor down in sunny Tenerife. Guess where we are? We're in Fania Bay, my old spot, my old haunts. I'm going to show you this. Remember this? The world famous Garden Bar. Dead, buried, gone. Do you know why? Because Dawn and I left 10 years ago. And there's nobody to take it over. What's it trying to say? Right, listen. We've got two one famous person. And we're going to interview this first person. This is one of my good pals. If you remember Ian Allinson, ex-Arsenal, scored a lot of goals for him, so he tells me. I have to Google it. And on top of that, he was a massive footballer at Colchester United. Played over 300 games, and he made a son called Lee. Have a look. Lee, look at that. What are you laughing at?
Made me, I'm not sure about that.
We're going to do a
DNA.
We're going to do a DNA on you, that's for sure. Like, listen, Lee, how are you, big man?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, we're all good. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Listen, I remember interviewing, was it 12 months, 18 months ago?
12 months ago.
12 months ago. And you give me all the update, where you were, what you were doing. Just give us a little bit of history of yourself in the football management.
Yeah, so started off at Biggleswade Way Town for 18 months and then left to go to Hendon, same level at the time, and then done 5 years at Hendon, and then job opportunity come up in December to take over at Hemel, and took the jump and loved every minute of it and done very well at the end of the season, and building now for next season.
Obviously I always check every week now, because obviously when you were at Hendon I used to check, and your dad, he used to be your number two, doing 2 or 3 days a week. I think it was just to get at the house away from your mum, I think, wasn't it? I mean, that's what he told me anyway. But is there a big difference from Hendon Football Club to Hemel Hempstead in respect to the crowd, the stature of the club, and obviously the chairman, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hendon was a great learning curve for me. It's a fantastic football club, steeped in massive history, and loved every minute of it. But financially, it was always a real struggle for them, and moving to Hemel is obviously a league above. They're geared up now for the National League, I believe, in terms of the ground and the structure around the ground. So, for me, it was a big jump, but a jump that I've kind of relished. And yeah, we're working with more money, but so a lot of the other teams. So it's it's the same problems, but just more money. So, but no, it's been brilliant. It's a great football club run by a brilliant chairman who's been there for 28 years now. He runs it himself, and it's just a very, very good place to work.
You're in National League South.
That's correct, yeah.
And I remember, obviously, you took over in December, early doors, and you had a great run, didn't you? Obviously, from then to the end of the season, obviously won a lot more games, didn't lose many. But again, it's always about the players that you got there, and I think you turned the club around.
Yeah, massively. We walked in there. I think there was 28 players in there, and 15 of them were injured, and we were quite aggressive with our recruitment, and obviously letting players go and bringing some boys in that we knew and we trusted, and they were brilliant. They worked extremely hard. I think in the form guide we finished 7th from when I took over, which is playoff form.
Yeah. But
for long periods we were up in the top 2 or 3, but a little bit hard done by towards the back end as our loanees got taken back off us. So we were a little bit short, but look, it was a great run. But that's forgotten about now, and next season's on the horizon, and that's what we've got to go for.
And you always have a good crowd. Listen, I'm a big watcher of the crowds, and you always have like 900 to 1,000 every home game, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the non-league football's growing from strength to strength. We had 1,000 at home games, and we played Torquay away. There was 5,000. St Albans 4,500. Torquay brought 2,500 to us. A massive crowd, and every game's like that now. So. It's like a mini National League now. It really is. It's getting stronger and stronger. I think there's 10 full-time teams in the league next year. Some big football clubs: Torquay, Dagenham and Redbridge, Maidenhead, Dorking, and a few others.
All your players are obviously part-time, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're part-time, so that's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for us. But for a lot of the clubs, as I say, 10 of them, they're Monday to Friday training, and then plan on a Saturday.
So you're always going to be against it unless you're just lucky and pick up 1 or 2 quality players that want to play for you under you.
Yeah, I think we've built a really good side. Look, whether it's enough to be where we want to be, only time will tell, But the team that won the league last year were part-time, and they had a great run and they won it. So, you know, I always believe our teams will be extremely fit, whether we're full-time or part-time, and we'll be able to match teams physically. We just got to make sure we can match teams with quality as well.
All right, 2 quick questions. The first one with regards to recruitment of this season. Who have you let go, and what about obviously incomings?
Yeah, we've let quite a few go, just because we felt we needed a change. Obviously, there was no success last year because the form wasn't good enough for the whole course of the season. We've brought in a lot of new players, which is always going to take time to bed in, but I think we've got some real exciting players. Mauro Valetti, Isaiah Noel Williams, to name a couple there that I feel that have got. Isaiah, especially for his age, has got a great chance of getting into the Football League. Yeah. You know, we've made 1 or 2 signings while we're out here, sitting here now. So, you know, look, the team is in a good place, I feel, but now it's about trying to sort it out and making sure that we've got the perfect starting 11 for the first game of the season.
Yeah, gotcha. And what about ambitions for yourself as an individual? Because when I speak to your dad every now and then, he said you want to go up if you can. You know, maybe you want to get into Div 2, Div 1. You know, have you got the ambition? Do you think you want to do it? Are you good? I'm sure you're good enough, because you always come across as a great storyteller and you know what you're talking about. And even I watch you obviously on YouTube channels and so forth, and I can see you going further afield.
Yeah, listen, that's been the goal from day one, you know, is to try and manage in the Football League, of course. But why I'm in a job that I'm enjoying at the moment, you know, is to try and get Hemel into the National League. That'll be the great chance if we can do that. And being full-time is what I want to do. I want to be full-time in football. I'm virtually full-time now, to be honest with you, in terms of, but I do have a little job away from here, from football. So, but that's the idea, is to be full-time at a football club with the same ambition as me, and I think I'm at that at the moment.
So if Hemel Hempstead, if you got promoted, could the chairman and your club, could you carry that on and stay there? Would there be funds available?
Yeah, 100%. Look, we pay within our means, you know, but I think with the chairman we've got, he's always looking to improve, and that's really important. You know, he's backed us brilliantly in the summer, which is really important. You need that backing, but again, we have to do it within our means. And I think if we were lucky enough to maybe get promoted or be challenging towards the back end of the season, I'm positive he'll invest in that and try and get us over the line. Or if we did manage to get up, we'll then try and invest in that next year to be in that league. But long way to go.
Yeah, no, super. Listen, obviously Simon, my number 3, is a big football man. Obviously, he's a big gooner, which is obviously your dad used to play for Arsenal. And we want to talk non-league football. In my local in Monte Cristo, I told you offline that we have a big gang of about 10 come over. 1 or 2 of them good friends, big West Ham fans, but they all go to Chatham Town and they love it. And I'm going to, in a few weeks when 1 or 2 come over, I'm going to interview them. So now you know a little bit about Chatham Town, don't you?
Absolutely, great football club. We went there in near the start of the season with Hendon. It was a great game. We were 2-0 down, got back to 2-2, and it was 3 sent off.
3 sent off?
3 sent off, and it was a crazy game. But the chairman, the owner there, who's the manager, he's got a real good vibe going on there. It's a brilliant football club. They do things really good off the pitch and on the pitch.
Are they full-time?
I think they've gone full-time this year, so I'm expecting them. Look, probably their manager will tell you he probably wanted to be in the playoffs last year. I expect them to be right up there this year, to be honest with you. They're a very good side, and that's what non-league's all about. You know, it's brilliant. It's brilliant for the locals, and they're a big football club.
What sort of crowds do they get? Do you know?
They're 7. I think we had 1,500 when we played them.
Yeah.
So they're a big club, really big club.
The only thing you and I talked offline, that you don't get a great taken away. You know, you're very limited on fans for Hemel Hempstead going obviously away. I wonder what that is, why that is.
Yeah, it's tough, you know. You've got to also take into account the cost of living at the moment, you know, when you're paying 18 or 17, 18 pounds to get into a stadium, and then you've got your children with you and everyone, it becomes an expensive day. You know, we've got our core fans that travel home and away with us, and they're always brilliant. They're great behind the goals, singing and cheering, and we take a lot to our local games, but you know, when you go into Torquay and places like that, it's very difficult, financially very, very tough for them, so you understand it, you know, and but the ones that we've got have been superb.
And they've been there bought the t-shirts, haven't they? Torquay
100%.
United.
Yeah.
Who was the Chamberlain, isn't it? Is it Chamberlain that let off Sky Sports? She was big follower of
She was
Torquay.
at the game, yeah. She was at the game
Oh,
last
she was at the
game
game,
of the season.
was she?
Yeah, yeah, she was.
Helen Chamberlain.
I'm actually very, very good friends with the Torquay manager, Paul Watton. He's a top man, really good guy, and I expect them to be right up there this year. But they're a massive football club. They're a football league club.
Yeah.
You know, we played them last game of the season at home, and they brought 2,500. So
Yeah.
it tells you what kind of football club they are. So you know, if we can just challenge with them teams, we'll have had a great season.
Fantastic. Listen, we've had a good chat. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to be watching, obviously, Hemel Hempstead, the Tudors. Obviously, that's your nickname, and I'm going to send this to every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Thank you,
and
mate.
listen, you know, and we're going to try and make Hemel Hempstead our big club
Good man.
every single week.
Excellent.
Seriously, we really will, and we'll try and get a few more followers for you.
Cheers.
So, Lee, there's
Thank
me
you,
and Big
mate.
Man.
Pleasure.
You're more than welcome.
Thank
Now,
you.
listen, I'm going to talk to the old man for a couple of minutes. I don't think he wants to, but he's going to have
He's
to,
gonna
isn't
have
he?
to.
He's got a
He's
bit.
gonna
No,
have to.
listen, stay. I'm going to come off this one, then I'm going to talk. I'm going to do a separate little channel for the big man, Ian Allison, because he's the one. He told me that he made you.
He did.
He made you
He's
to
a legend.
to what? He's a legend.
He's a
You
legend.
can have a look, see him. There he is. There's he is. And now we're going to come back. Let's go to. He's over there. Right, listen, absolutely super. Hemel Hempstead, this is the team we got to watch. Not Chatham, not Hendon, not Boreham Wood, St Albans, where the big man used to manage. We're all Hemel Hempstead. So, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, subscribe to WEBBY'S World. It is what it is. Football channel. We'll see you on the next one. Take care all.